My name is Jane Shodel. I'm the lead programmer for the Special Presentations program. And it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to the North American premiere screening of The Whale, directed by Darren Aronofsky. I would like to thank our lead and major sponsors, Bell, RBC, Bulgari, and Visa, for their continued support. Thank you to our major supporters, the Government of Canada, the Government of Ontario, Telefilm Canada, and the City of Toronto for their continued support. This film is eligible for the People's Choice Award. Vote for your favorite films at tiff.net/vote. We would like to thank Elevation Pictures and A24 for providing us with this film. Thank you. Director Darren Aronofsky is a cinematic risk taker. In his films, he is never afraid to delve deeply into the human psyche, quite fearless in his exploration of the hearts and minds of troubled and traumatized people. And in doing so, he asks the viewer to reach more deeply into themselves for meaning. In a career characterized by great diversity of form and genre, this Oscar-nominated director has always provoked conversation. His previous films include Pi, Requiem for a Dream, The Fountain, The Wrestler, Black Swan, Noah, and Mother, and now, The Whale. Featuring a screenplay by Samuel D. Hunter, adapted from his own play of the same name. The film stars Chau, Sadie Sink, Samantha Morton, Simpkins, and of course, Brendan Fraser. Whose 25-year career on screen has brought us everything from George of the Jungle to Gods and Monsters with Ian McKellen, from The Mummy to the Oscar-winning Crash, and now to Here, where the power and the depth and the complexity of his performance has made him the recipient of the 2022 TIFF Tribute Award for Performance. We're very pleased to have an opportunity to speak with our guests after the film, but please join me in welcoming director Darren Aronofsky.
Thank you, Toronto. First, I gotta say thank you for everyone at TIFF. Yeah. I've missed you guys so much. There is no audiences in the world like Toronto, and I'm so happy to be back. I've been coming here since Requiem for a Dream, when there was an ambulance in the middle because someone had a little panic attack, but they kept the film rolling, so I was always thankful. There won't be any panic attacks tonight. I've gotten a little older and a little bit more calm, so don't worry about that. We've all lost a lot in the last few years, and a big thing that we lost was human connection. And the thing about film is that it is all about human connection in two ways, right? First, there's this room right now, which is the definition, theatrical human connection. Thank you, A24, for releasing us theatrically. And then there's also the human connection of when you watch a movie, right? Watching a movie is an exercise in empathy. It transports you into the body and soul and spirit of someone who can be completely different from you. And when I saw Sam's play 10 years ago, that's what really moved me. I was really nothing like any of the characters in the project, but I felt so deeply for all of them because of Sam's beautiful writing. And I just knew I had to somehow figure out how to get that to the screen. So the first person I'd like to bring out is the MacArthur Genius Award-winning Sam Hunter. Casting it was really hard, and perhaps the hardest role to cast in some ways was the role of Thomas. And I had to find someone who could really have an incredible innocence, but was still a great actor, which, actors lose their innocence pretty early. So, that was supposed to be a joke. But eventually I found the great Simpkins. And then, like everyone else in the room, I was watching season 2 of Stranger Things, and I was like, who the hell is that? That girl can act. I got to work with her. And from the very beginning, she was in my mind to play the role of Ellie, and it's just been amazing to watch the rest of the world really celebrate her. And the upside of this human's career is boundless. I have no idea where it's going to go, but as a fan, I can't wait to see and watch it with you. Please welcome Sadie Sink. And so, oh yeah, that's it. We can go. Oh no, yeah. Oh, actually, yeah. So there was a reason it took me 10 years to make the film, and that was because casting Charlie was a really difficult feat. As you'll see, it's such a demanding role, emotionally and technically. And I considered pretty much every single actor on the planet. I met with tons of actors, and nothing clicked. And then I saw a trailer to a low-budget Brazilian film in Portuguese and a supporting role with Brendan Fraser, and my heart was like, holy shoot, sorry. I haven't thought of him, and something clicked deep inside. And from that moment on, I knew we had Charlie, and I've never doubted for a second. Please, a warm welcome to reintroduce the great Brendan Fraser. All right. That's great. There's people up there too. Hey guys. Good. What a beautiful theater. Thank you, TIFF, once again. We'll be here afterwards for any questions. I hope you enjoy the film.
Please welcome back actor Ty Simpkins. Actor Sadie Sink. Playwright and screenwriter Samuel Hunter. Director Darren Aronofsky. Actor and TIFF Tribute Award winner Brendan Fraser. All right, we'll get started here. Thank you.
Can I say one thing real quick? Thank you. I forgot something really important at the beginning of this. I begged TIFF, and they allowed us to break some rules to play tonight because it's Sam Hunter's birthday tonight. So this is my birthday gift to you, Sam.
Thank you. Probably my most...
Happy birthday to Santa. Happy birthday to you. Thank you for whoever started that. Thank you.
I'm never going to forget that. My Lord, best birthday.
Darren, I want to start off with, can you talk to us about the moment you first encountered Samuel's text and, seeing the play, and what was the inciting incident, the motivating factor for you to bring his story to the screen?
Yeah, I remember the New York Times article, just reading through the Times and being like, oh, I'm going to like that. And I went to see it off-Broadway at Playwrights Horizon, a really great institution in New York. How many seats? Small?
125.
125 seats. And I was just deeply moved because, as I said before this started, these characters are not me, but I completely understood them and felt them and was connected to them. And there's so many themes in that are present in my other work. So that's the beauty, once again, is real, rich human characters. And I got to say, it is the best text I've ever worked with. And when you make a movie, you watch every scene hundreds, if not thousands of times. And even tonight, I'll see a line and I'll be like, oh, there's a little connection there that I missed. So it's just very, very rich material, and the challenge was how to make it cinema, but I knew that in there was just great characters and people would love to spend some time with them.
You seem to have this brilliant knack of connecting with actors and finding actors in this rare moment, and I think about The Wrestler, and I'm wondering if you can talk about, working, collaborating, or coming up with the notion that you wanted to work with Brendan on this film, and just how that process all came to be.
Well, as I said, it took a long time to find the right actor at the right time. It's not a calculation. To be honest, like Mickey, I understood that there was there was a real interest I knew a lot of actors, looked up to him. And with Brendan, it was purely the connection of seeing him as a human being, meeting him, getting an energy from him, and just, it was such a deep gut feeling. So I don't know if there's like any calculation going on of trying to do something like that. It really is finding the right actor for the job that gets me excited to wake up. And the same things with Sadie and Ty. It's like actors that are hungry is a super important thing, because all of these roles are really difficult, and I knew they were going to be hard. And even though A24 was generous, it wasn't a huge film in any way, and people would be doing it for the right reasons, which was for the passion and for the work. And you just have to find the actor at the right time in their career, ready to work hard, and that's what I always look for.
Brendan, it would be great to hear from you. You had been out of Hollywood and the studio system for a few years, and I'm wondering though, what did it take for you to put your trust in Darren to take on this, very difficult role, and just what was your process in making this decision? And clearly it paid off.
Well, I heard that Darren was going to direct a movie, and Mary Vernew was sending the word around to...
Mary Vernew is here in the house. Our casting director. Stand up, Mary. There she is, Mary Vernew. Legend.
She said, "You want? Would you meet Darren?" Absolutely. So I did. We went. I went to his office. It was a frozen afternoon in January, and we talked about the project. There was no script available to me at the time. He told me it's about a man living with a burden of regret, and he's been harming himself by overeating, and he wants to reconnect with his daughter and let her know how much he loves her. He's running out of time, and hey, look, those are really the only things I knew about it. I knew already. Those are big objectives to play, big obstacles, and the substance of something that I know that Darren would wrap his arms around and make an impressive piece of cinema from. So of course I wanted to be a part of that.
Thank you. Let's take a few from the audience. Let's go right here.
I have a question for Darren. I noticed some cinematic parallels between some of your other films, like the father-daughter dynamic in The Wrestler, or sort of losing touch with reality, like in Black Swan or Requiem for a Dream. So what were some that you encountered when you first saw the source?
I'll just repeat. So,
Yeah, please.
if you want to talk about some recurring themes that are present here and in some of your other films, is that true?
I kind of leave that for my therapist to break down. I don't know why I'm attracted to these stories. I guess I just connect and relate to the characters. So I don't know. I don't have much to say about it except that it's just, it's always about, for me, when I'm transported into a character that I don't really expect. I did this little film, I produced a little film called Pacified, which you should all seek out, about a 13-year-old girl growing up in a favela in Rio de Janeiro, and I know nothing of that world, but I loved it because I was just transported into her world. And so that's I think the beauty of cinema, and why we have to keep this alive, is that ability for the art form to take us and to put us into someone else's story.
Yes, go ahead.
How to make a dynamic movie out of a play. Yeah. But I'd love to talk, Sam, if you could talk about just some of the origin of the play, because I think people would love to hear a bit about that and then how I turned it.
Yeah. I mean, I wrote. Thank you, by the way. Thank you so much for having me. I started working on this play about 13 years ago, and I was teaching expository writing at the time, and desperately trying to connect with my students who really hated the course, and by extension me. And so at one point in the semester, I taught it a few different times, but at one point with some class, I just kind of got a little desperate and was like, can you please just write me something honest? And one of my students wrote me a line that ended up in the play and in the movie, which was, I think I need to accept that my life isn't going to be very exciting. And it broke my heart in half, and I knew I wanted to write something about an expository writing teacher trying to connect with a young person, which led me to this story. And I had a few false starts, but it wasn't until I kind of put some more personal stuff on the line. This is set in the town in which I grew up, in North Idaho. I was a gay kid there. I went to a very religious school that taught me that I was going to hell. And for many years, I self-medicated with food and got to be pretty big. And of course, that's not everybody's story who's big. There's plenty of people who are big and happy and healthy, but that wasn't me, and that wasn't the story that I wanted to tell. And it was hard to write for that reason, because it felt very vulnerable. I'm glad I wrote it. I don't know if I would have had the courage to write it if I knew I would be standing on this stage right now. But
get used to it. Get used to standing on stages, okay? Just get used to it.
But more to your point, it is a very contained play. And I remember when Darren first reached out to me about making it into a film, I had never written a movie. I mean, I think I bought Final Draft to write this movie. And I remember being nervous at the beginning because I thought, well, no, maybe he wants me to open it up and different locations and things like that, and which I know is probably the standard practice when you're opening up a play, or when you're adapting a play, but I just felt like it didn't want that. And before I had even said anything, I think it was our second meeting, Darren was like, no, let's keep it in the apartment. And I was like, that's the right choice, that's the difficult choice, but it's the right choice. And so I'm glad that was 10 years ago. We've been working on and off on this script for 10 years, and I'm glad it took 10 years, because I think it took 10 years to make it the right way and find the cinematic language for this two-bedroom apartment.
Yeah, it was, look, boundaries, I'm an independent filmmaker originally, and I love my restrictions. Pi was $20,000, and so out of restrictions becomes tremendous creativity, hopefully. And so my mentor, Stuart Rosenberg, great director, who directed Cool Hand Luke, I was his student for a few years. He always said that there's only one place to put a camera in a scene, and you get that from the theme and then from the moment. And so this was really, for me, that exercise fully to honor Stuart, my mentor, in trying to just honor the theme and the scene and have the camera in the exact right place, as dictated by Sam's script and by the performances of the actors here on stage. So that's what cinema is at the basic part, is text, performance, and a camera.
It'd be great to hear, yeah, please. It'd be great to hear from Sadie and Ty. Obviously, the opportunity to work with Darren, you're not going to pass up. But I wonder if you could talk about just, what drew you to the script, and also what was the collaboration like working with Darren?
Yeah, I mean, I got asked to do the reading that you guys held pre-COVID, and I think you guys sent me the script the day of or something like that. So I skimmed through it, and then I just showed up at the random theater, got sat next to Brendan, and then we read The Whale. And I think, I don't know, like Darren was saying, I've just never seen writing so rich, and these characters were just, I don't know, they were living and breathing, and I don't know, I empathized with Ellie specifically so much, not in a way that I relate to her, but I just understand her and saw her pain before anything else, I think. And yeah, I was just thrilled to work with Darren to get that opportunity. It's amazing.
Ty?
Yeah, so I got the audition in February of 2021, right before we started to film. And I sent in we did an audition tape, and I sent it in. 2 days later, they told me I was going to be meeting with Sadie and Brendan on Zoom. And I live on the West Coast, and we were filming on the East Coast in the middle of winter. So they told me in the audition that I was going to be flying the next day to film the movie. And I packed up all of my Southern California tank tops and board shorts and went to the middle of nowhere in New York to film in 20-degree weather every day. So that was great. No, but what really drew me to the character in particular was just honestly, like Sadie, I kind of empathize and understand the character's struggles. I grew up somewhat religious when I was very young, and kind of understanding not fully trusting what I'm being told kind of really drew me into Thomas. And getting to explore that with someone like Darren was just, it's a real honor, and it's a real big learning experience. And just being in a movie like this is insane, especially working with Brendan and Sadie. They're all amazing, so yeah.
Thank you.
We'll take a couple more. Yes, go ahead.
Now let's go.
Oh, we'll go up there next. The question is for Brendan. Did you discover something about yourself that was untapped before going into this project?
I learned that to play a person, a corporal being, such as Charlie is, that you need to be an incredibly strong individual to be that man. Because at the end of the day, I could take the apparatus off, and while I felt a bit of dizziness, something about that stayed with me until we came back and did it the next day, and even for maybe about some time after we finished the film too. I learned that when you just invest everything you can and give it what you've got as if it's the first and last time you ever will again, something important can come of that. And I think that with your help, we might be able to change some hearts and minds.
Okay, let's go up top. There's a lot of votes up for that one. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, the middle balcony here. Can you talk about the level of trust that you would enforce on set when there were difficult moments that you were filming in the script and things were getting emotional? Do you enforce any kind of practice or anything like that with the actors to keep a level of calmness on the set?
Sadie, that was a question for you, I think.
I mean, it was such a small crew, and most of the scenes were just taking place between two people. So having those vulnerable moments, I think, I don't know, it just felt so contained, and I felt really supported. It was just such a supportive environment. And without all the bells and whistles, it's really easy to just kind of like focus and I don't know, let it all spill out, I guess.
We also had the luxury of rehearsing for 3 weeks before we started. With the taped out floor, Darren said, we're a theater company. So we rehearsed with stand-in props. We even had to obey that the tape on the floor meant there was a wall there and we weren't allowed to walk through it. We had to go
like
around.
when they, to walk into it, I made them walk around, so some cockamamie, but everyone was like, really?
It worked!
I'd love to. Yeah, thanks. I'd love to give a shout out to to some of the crew members that are here. Just two of the producers, my partner in Protozoa and creative producer Ari Handel. Can you stand up, Ari? He helped a lot of development with me and Sam. Jeremy Dawson, who navigated us through COVID and made this film happen. Our composer, Rob Simonson, and first time we worked together, but brilliant job, Rob. And the only guy who can live in one room with me for a year, my editor, Andy Weisblum. Is there anyone else, Ari, that I forgot? Is everyone else here? And there's a few. Okay.
I think we got time for one last question.
On top, all the way on top.
You got someone in mind there?
Scream it out. No?
Sure, the person who just said me.
Makeup and design was by Canada's own Adrian Moreau. Longtime collaborator of Darren's, a body scan with an iPad in my driveway in the cold, followed by the design of Charlie in a virtual model, a 3D printing process, and then using more traditional methods of silicates and formulas to create the applications. Skipping a step in the middle for hand modeling and clay and other compounds. So that meant that Charlie's body is so exact down to the size of the pores the placement of each hand-punched hair, that the first time I walked in the shop and saw his torso on a mannequin, I thought somebody ripped off the Tate Modern or something, because there was a work of art in front of me. It belonged for you to see it. It's such a fulfillment for me to have had the privilege of wearing Adrian's work to play this role, because without it, I couldn't have done this. I absolutely could not have done this. Thanks for asking.
Just to add to that, it was, I think, the second or third phone call I made after we decided to do it, just to see if it was possible, was to Adrian, because there is a long history of creations being made that basically it's characters that are living with obesity are often punchlines and just really not taken as serious characters in film. And this, we were trying to do the exact opposite, which was to, within 5-10 minutes of watching the film, is to have people start getting past their prejudices and to open up their hearts to Charlie. And so it was really important that we were realistic and not trying to make something farcical, and that's why it was such a huge challenge and undertaking.
Charlie's body obeyed gravity and physics. We'll admit to maybe a light CG curative step. That might have been if the fabric was acting up one morning or something, just to not take your mind out of that this is a creation. And I don't believe that we have seen a makeup and costume combination of this authenticity that's been put on the big screen before. Until now.
Ty, Sadie, Samuel, Darren, Brendan, on behalf of TIFF in Toronto, thank you so much for bringing this story here, for coming to Toronto. Everybody, the team of The Whale,